Ethiopia is going to be able to decide which quantity of water is going to be released, what volume it is going to deliver to the downstream countries. This is an issue for Sudan and Egypt, quite a big issue, but the size of a project makes it be a geopolitical problem. When the project is going to be completed, the Gerd is going to be the largest hydroelectric power plant in Africa. The storage reservoir necessary for the dam to work at full capacity is of 74 billion cube meters. It is more than all the water that drains the Nile in 1 year. Imagine that the entire Blue Nile flows would be dedicated to the dam's reserves. 1 year won't be enough to fill it. We took the point of view of Ethiopia, and we saw that building up those barrages, and especially the Gerd, was a national project of huge importance. A project built up in order to reduce the risk of famines, to improve the agricultural sector, to make the country export energy, develop its economy, etc. But let's take the point of view of Egypt and Sudan now. Egypt first. To become dependent on Ethiopians' wishes to release some water each season? How can you ask such a thing to Egypt without expecting resistance? "90% of Egypt is desert. The Nile represents 96% of its fresh water supplies. So imposing Egyptians such a thing on their most precious resource will mechanically generate tensions. Once built up, Ethiopia's interest is going to be the filling up of the barrage as fast as possible. And it is going to take a while. If it reduced the Blue Nile's rate of flow of 10%, for instance, it would take more than 10 years. And reducing the flow of 10% makes an important difference for the downstream countries, especially because the Blue Nile is the one between the Blue Nile and the White Nile with the main flow rate. And if the downstream countries also wanted to build up a barrage, they would also need to fill it up, and therefore would add to the Nile dryness. So it's hardly acceptable for Egypt to lose some independence and to have to accept years of Nile flow reduction. And it's the same for Sudan, except it's a bit different. The dependency to Ethiopia is of great concern for Sudan, yes. The fact that the Nile's flows are going to be reduced is also of great concern for Sudan, of course. But the priority number one for Sudan is a bit different. Egypt is far away from the Gerd, at nearly 1,000 kilometers down the Nile. But the frontier of Sudan is just behind the dam. So the more the project is actually coming close to completion, the more Sudan has to accept the facts and to react accordingly. And what would be your concern if you lived just behind a dam containing all the water that flows the Nile in 1 year? Just behind a dam of the height of half the Eiffel Tower, nearly 2 kilometers wide. You would be really scared of a construction defect. You would be afraid of having one day to face a gigantic wave rolling on your country. This is more the angle according to which the Sudanese sees